going on in the world today. Every time Dick and Harry got something to say, but what they said ain't got no fabric to it. Yay takes the thoughts with dice straight through it. It's all about rumors and people feuding. If we're not uplifting, then what we doing? Yeah, they love the culture, yet they trying to wreck it. But are we ready to go hard to protect it? If we don't stand firm, then we're sure to fall. Are you ready to fight this thing and accept the call? Oh, it's all about dealerships and the mall. Now I'm ready to go for broke like Apostle Paul. I'm charged with the task to keep it real, moving straight forward, not about to yield. Tackling every subject, yeah, you know the drill. R.I.P. Guru, I bring that mass appeal. Our ancestors stood tall despite abuse. We got all the tools, so what's our excuse? It's time to show a face and take off the mask. It's something every yay, it's the podcast. 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 I laugh at myself at the dance. But what it do. Welcome to another episode number 12. It's Some Every Yay, the podcast. I'm your host, Danye Jones. This is episode number 12. We'll keep this thing rolling. So let's go and get it cracking. Feeling pretty good today. Hope all is well. Started back school last week, so trying to get back in the groove. But just as always, a few housekeeping things we need to take care of. Subscribe to my channel, Some Every Day, the podcast. But you must go to Danye F. Jones on YouTube, Danye F. Jones, and subscribe. Cost you nothing, so why not? Why not? Also, you can follow me on Instagram on the Coach_Jones32. Also on Instagram, Decola_32. You can also find me not actually on Spotify, but the information, I'm still struggling with that. But yeah, we're trying to get this thing going. So, interesting show today. This show is called Randomz, with a Z instead of S. Volume 1. So what is Randomz? Randomz is a concept I came up with a few years back. A lot of my boys in my group chat or my high school class group chat, I would say randoms. And I would just send random pictures. It could be a picture of myself, could be a picture of a baby, could be a picture of a snake, just out the blue, nothing connects. So, but in my first volume here of Randomz, I could be talking about a multitude of random subjects. That's what I'm going to be doing today. So, excuse me, without any further ado, let's get this thing started. What am I going to talk about first? I think I'm going to talk about this here. If you haven't heard, the Nancy Lieberman and Cheryl Swoopes little beef going on. It's crazy. It's really not beef. It is beef, but if you didn't know, the lady on the left with the, reddish fuchsia dress, that's Cheryl Swoopes. Obviously in the middle is Caitlin Clark, the ball player, the rookie sensation for the Fever. And on the right is Nancy Lieberman. So, if you don't know anything about these ladies, if you're not a basketball aficionado, particularly in women's basketball, Cheryl Swoopes, Texas Tech, won the championship early 90s. I think she got 47 in the championship game. Went on to the WNBA. She was part of that first big rage of the WNBA when they started like in 96. I think they won 3 championships straight for the Houston Comets. It was her, Tina Thompson, and Cooper. She would kill me because I met her. I don't know her, but I know her a little bit. Got a picture with her somewhere. I find it, put it one day. But they won 3 championships in a row. Cheryl Swoopes, great player. Nancy Lieberman, Hall of Famer, just like Cheryl Swoopes, did work at Old Dominion early on in the 80s. Legend, great teacher of the game, great student of the game, great knowledge of the game. She announced a lot of college games, pro games. She's even have done some NBA games, if I'm not mistaken. Well, anywho, here's what's going on. I guess back in February, I think Cheryl Swoops was on the Gills Arenas podcast, and she was talking about the points. I think when Caitlin Clark had broke the record. I think the young lady Clum, or it's Plum or Clum, she was the all-time leading scorer. And Cheryl kind of was saying, well, she had an extra year because of the COVID year, so stats aren't legit. Lieberman like, come on, get a girl a break, get your facts straight. So she called and they talked. So I guess they had some words. So Lieberman said she saw Swoops at the Final Four this past year. She didn't speak. So I guess the beef is still going on. She was just recently on Stephen A. Smith's show on his podcast talking about it. I usually don't get content from other people's podcasts like a lot of people do. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's just not my style. I like to bring up my own content. But I thought this was interesting because to me, it's all about a little bit of nothing. Just two people beefing, two women beefing about nothing. And Lieberman said she would love to have Swoops in her life. She's been knowing her for years. But if she don't, pretty much she won't lose any sleep. And Cheryl tweeted back, I feel the same thing. I feel the same way. So we ain't cool no more. It is what it is. But I would say this about Caitlin Clark. Listen, you can go back to my earlier podcast when she first was getting hyped. People were saying she was overrated or they're hyping her too much. I said she'll be fine because she can shoot, but more so she can pass. Last 2 weeks she's been on a tear. In the last game she had 28 and 12. I think another shooting guard scored like 36, I think. So the fever. Now the team she's on, they haven't been over 500 or in the playoffs in 5 years. Not coincidental that Caitlin's there now. Looks like they're going to be in the playoffs, maybe at a 5 or 6 seed. Are they going to win it? Doubtful. They got a lot of teams they still have to climb to do that. But the fact that they're in the playoffs, that's a win. And what's interesting about her, she's been getting cheap shot a little bit, but that's just what it is. But she just get up, brushed up, and just keep on hooping. So I'm just a fan of basketball, people who hoop, man, and the girl can really play. I think she has wrapped up the rookie of the year. I think she has. Angel Reese, that's my baby. She do her thing. I love her swag. I love her heart. She had, I think, maybe 20-some double-doubles, broke the rookie record as far as that. And by the way, she's brought a level of excitement to the game, brought more eyes to the game, more viewership to the game, just as Caitlin. So these two, they were trying to say Magic and Bird, not in that same sense. Probably the sense in terms of bringing more popularity, more eyes. Now, we know about Asia Wilson from the Aces. We know we've had great players in the WNBA, but these two have definitely brought in excitement. Now, listen, the average WNBA game combined is like 8,000 in attendance. The Indiana Fever, Caitlin's team, they average 15,000 a game. Never has happened. So at some point, you have to still acknowledge that what she has brought to the game. So shout out to Caitlin. Keep on hooping. I think they have to clinch. They could clinch tonight. I don't know if they won tonight. I'll check it out in a minute. I think they could clinch a playoff berth. So that'd be cool for her in the playoffs. That'd be great for the WNBA. Absolutely great. You need to continue to try to grow the game. But back to these old ladies here. Come on, get it together. I ain't gonna say old lady because the thing me and Cheryl Swoop think we might be the same age. If she's not a year older, I'm 53, so she might be the same age. But Lieberman, she's definitely older than me. Definitely. But yeah, because Old Dominion was rolling in the 80s. I was a little boy. Because y'all, during that time in the 80s, the teams, as far as college basketball, Old Dominion, Louisiana Tech. In fact, LSU coach Mulkey, she was the point guard for LA Tech. She had a real long braid. USC with Cheryl Miller and the McGee twins. Of course, Tennessee. Them pretty much were the teams. They're pretty much were the teams. Old Dominion, Louisiana Tech, Tennessee, and USC. There was no UConn like that yet. So get it together, ladies. Talk a little bit about college football. The top 25 rankings are out. I'm just going to look at the top 10 real quick. Of course, Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4, Notre Dame 5, Ole Miss 6, Oregon 7, Penn State 8, Missouri 9, and Michigan is actually number 10. Michigan's number 10. So interesting first week. I just want to say one thing about this. Ohio State, Ryan Day, the coach. Don't matter what you do in the regular season. Don't matter. You have to beat Michigan. Period. You have to beat Michigan. Or you might as well start packing your bags. I don't think he's beaten Michigan in 5 years. He definitely didn't beat Harbaugh. And now that Harbaugh's gone, if you lose to Michigan this year, it's a wrap. Anybody who know about that rivalry, I'm from Michigan, Ohio State, big time rivalry. So you have to win that game. So if you don't win, I'll holler at you. Next, I'm talking about these brothers. So Colorado, they was in a dogfight in North Dakota State. They eventually pulled it out. But I'll say something about these two brothers here. Shadur Sanders on the left, which is Deion's son, and Travis Hunter. They are something to behold. Listen, I think Shadur threw for 400, over like close to 450 yards. Travis had, I think, like 7 receptions for a buck something. I think 3 TDs. His hands are ridiculous. I don't think he came out the game. Of course, he plays both sides of the ball. Now, look, I'm pretty sure they probably both go to the league after this year. I mean, you can't gamble on another year and get hurt. You got to go ahead and get that money. Of course, they're doing well with the NIL, but to Travis Hunter, man, that kid there, man. And it's crazy. I wonder how they're going to utilize him at the next level. He can play receiver, and he can defend, too. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play him. But one thing about Colorado that's I'm concerned about, they defensively, and I know Deion really, really lit into him about that because defensively, I thought they were brutal. North Dakota State pretty much did what they wanted to for the most part. They gave up a lot of yards, a lot of big yards on the ground too. I think they rushed. North Dakota State rushed definitely over 150 yards, and that's another thing in terms of rushing for Colorado. As dynamic as Shadur and Travis are as a quarterback and receiver combo, that will mean nothing if you can't run the ball. Because what they're going to start doing, they're going to start doubling Travis, trying to make him hit other people, but definitely you have to put the ball on the ground. That's where the games are won. You at the line of scrimmage, and I think Colorado only rushed for a total of 59 yards with a committee of running backs. So they're gonna have to shore that up. I'm gonna. I was working, so I watched the game here and there. I'm really gonna try to watch the next game so I can try to analyze it a little bit better. My cousins, they say I don't know about football. Yes, I do. You're wrong. Do I know more about basketball? Yeah. But I put it like this here. I know more about football than they do about basketball. Real talk. So that's neither here nor there. Um, yeah, another thing they were talking about. I guess Swaggy P. A picture of Swaggy P. You know the ball player Swaggy P. Well, let nobody call me Swaggy P. Unless I was rapping, but that's something else. He had put out a tweet saying something like, "Kobe is to Curry." To Curry. I don't know how to put it. This is what he was saying. Really, basically, what he was saying. Kyrie really is better than Curry, but nobody won't say it. Kind of like he was saying, well, Kobe is better than Mike Jordan, but nobody won't say it. And they was having a little debate like that on Gil's joint, and it was funny, but it's crazy how you look at it. I think just straight eye test, if you just talking about straight hooping, of course people think Kyrie's probably better. But team, the entire package, and I'm talking about team package, franchise, everything. Obviously, it would be Steph, obviously championships and all that. But everybody know Kyrie's that dude. So I'm not gonna sit there and say that um, Kyrie's not better than Curry. Depends on what you want. They definitely have the best two handles in the league. I think Kyrie had the best handle the NBA has ever seen. But um, it's funny. And they were talking. Then also they were saying that Kobe is really better than Mike. Now I still got Mike as number one player of all time for me, and definitely number one shooting guard. Kobe's number two. But I will say this here: both of them in their prime, I would love to see them play a one on one because Kobe wasn't afraid of Jordan from the giddy up. That's why Jordan had so much respect for him and loved him like that because Kobe would go at him. But Kobe, I think definitely initially Kobe ball handling definitely was better than Mike's, definitely. Um, but it's crazy how you look at the two sides. Kobe with the fro was that wild young kid, excited and everything. And Jordan, see, let me get to this. Back to the young guys talking about some of the players, the young guys in the NBA. When Jordan came into the league, man, listen, that young Jordan, he was something to behold. And we got a sneak peek, well, in the Olympics, but I already knew because I like North Carolina growing up. Kind of remember some of the '79 game with Michigan State and the Indiana State with Magic and Bird. But I really, really remember. I remember in '81 when Indiana, Isaiah and them beat North Carolina. But the game I can truly, truly say I remember officially was North Carolina and Georgetown in '82. I sat on the couch and I did with me, my big brother Tino, and his boy Lynn Brooks. Lynn Brooks was going for Georgetown. My big brother was going for North Carolina, so that means I was going for North Carolina. I try to beat everybody who his team was. That was my team. He liked San Diego Chargers. I like San Diego Chargers. He liked the Lakers. I like the Lakers. So no different with North Carolina. But they don't realize how good he was. And that's like, it killed me right now, the young guys. They see all these random stuff. You got YouTube. You got stuff to look. You have stuff to research, Wikipedia, all type of stuff. Swaggy P talking about he got famous off the one jump shot he hit against Jordan hit against Georgetown. Yes, that was the one he shot that put them up 63, 62. He said it's only 2 points. Jordan, I don't know. I got a good memory. I'm gonna look this up. Y'all look it up if I'm wrong. Make a comment when y'all see this. But if I'm not mistaken, Jordan had 16 in that game, 16 and 9. Of course, Worthy was the best player. Worthy had like 28 and 29. But and they got Worthy's pub. Worthy was the number one pick the next year. But it ain't like Jordan just hit some lucky shot. Jordan was player of the year a few times in college basketball. So it just one of the things. But the thing that concerned me with the young guys in the league talking about the NBA players are the only professional sport that disrespect its legends. They don't do that in football. You would never hear people like Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders talking ill will of Jim Brown and Walter Payton, Gale Sayers, Earl Campbell. You won't hear that from them. You won't hear it. The NBA players are the only one that does that. I mean, so I don't know why. And what's crazy, the younger fans are like that too. It's listen, like Ant Man, and I understand he was talking about like the players wasn't skilled. And I'm gonna tell you something. Of course, Jordan just was something different at the time. Are there more athletic players today? Absolutely. But they tell me it wasn't none then. Man, listen. But look, it was guys that could just get it. It was guys that could get it though. I mean, people talk about the Boston Strength. Like people who know who's going to talk about. That's what they named Andrew Toney. Played two. Walter Davis from Phoenix had game. You know what I'm saying? So we know about Clyde, but it was so many players. Rolando Blackman for Dallas had Boogie. He could play, man. It was solid. They had to be fundamentally sound. They had to do pump fake. Footwork was impeccable. There was always hoopers, man. So, but just to totally disrespect them is just it's just mind boggling. And when you can just look it up, and just look. That's what Magic said. I don't listen to nobody who ain't got championships. Magic usually don't say stuff like that. Magic usually a little more different, but Magic know because what he's saying, you don't have skill. And first of all, let's talk about skill. We got guys who have athleticism, and guys who are just fundamentally or just have skill sets. It's not the same thing. Some people happen to be both. LeBron was fundamental and had athleticism, and it was cerebral. Kobe Bryant, athleticism, fundamental, cerebral. Michael Jordan, athleticism. And it's a good thing about Michael Jordan didn't have what he had in later career. He worked on it. He wasn't the greatest shooter, wasn't the greatest ball handler, but he improved on all those things. And his footwork became impeccable. So I don't think his footwork was better than Kobe's, but he had really good footwork. So young guys, listen, it's people, and I can say this because I've seen both ends. And I love the young players of the day. I do. That's why long LeBron stay in shape, he can play another five just on IQ alone because he's smarter than all of them. Just saying what it is. So that's my little take on that. Now, this weekend, I had to go out of town, do this little job I do, little paper chase thing I do. Um, and it was a rural state, um, a battleground state, as they say for the election. And I was talking to a lot of the locals, and I just love having conversation with people, particularly people that's not from my background, ethnicity. Just I like to see what people think, how they think. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I do. It's fun. Um, a lot of conversation with the locals. First, I'm gonna say this: the locals, a lot of them were great. I had an awesome conversation at the parking lot with a elderly white lady at a Walmart. We were talking about daughters, daughters, and then she was talking about her grandbabies, and I say she loves to spoil them and send them right back to their mother, which is her daughter, which is cool. But I had some conversations with some people about the upcoming election, and it's like a real rural area, a place where they would call the heart of America type of area. People there are real folksy. They said you gotta do work, get her done. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of spot. Get her done. That's how they say it. Well, one guy I met this guy and his woman. Don't know if it was his wife and I can't remember, but they were talking about elections. One brother I was with, he didn't want to hear it. First, they two were talking. They were talking about something. He brought up politics. He said, "Well, I don't know if you're into politics." And he said something. That brother got up and left. But I kept talking to him, and he was talking about uh, Kamala Harris, all these different things. Got to talk about border control, this and that. And I told him, you kept talking about all these people from these Latin countries. I said, well, they're not the only ones coming in. I said, in fact, here, subscribe to my podcast because I did an interview with a young man who worked for Border Control for years, and he's an awesome brother. Made the first active shooter video, Shahid Shabazz, shameless plug. Uh, that was a couple weeks ago. Subscribe to my podcast. But I was talking to him about, I said, there's a lot of different people. What about the European immigrants that are coming over? We just focusing on Latin. So we were talking about that. And I said, well, I know I'm not voting for Trump. He said, why aren't you? I said, well, I'm going to tell you something. Not that I agree with, not that I'm like the biggest Kamala Harris fan. It's not that, and I'm not against her either. Before y'all start blowing me up, I know I'm not a fan of Trump because I think his moral compass is off. I mean, that means something to me. That means something. And we talked about it again. See, people still, for me, this for me, that January 6th insurrection that he ignited, um, is to me one of the most egregious things this country has ever seen. I think it's on the same line with the Civil War, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in a minute. Um, and think about it, he was tweeting about it before. January 6th, people came from all over the country. I'm pretty sure the event I was at, a lot of them were there. I should have brought that up, but I wasn't even thinking. But I said, Chumma, we love this country. This country is supposed to be about democracy. They were trying to take the election. Okay, you lost. They stormed the Capitol. I know you all know this, but let's think about that again. They stormed the Capitol. If they would have gotten to Nancy Pelosi, or Pence, they would have killed them. They would have shot them. They was gonna beat them to death. You see Nancy Pelosi, how frail she looked? She ain't got no pounds to play with. Man, they would have stopped her out in a minute. So I said, and he's over there, because when they did the rally before they rushed, he's talking about, I'm going to be there with you. That stuff was under, I don't know if y'all saw it. I'm not making this up. Y'all can Google this stuff. He was under a tent. It's like almost they had a party, watching the insurrection, drinking, playing music. And I know he was like, look at them fools. They'll do whatever I say. So I'm like, dude. And the guy I was talking to, I think he was a good guy. He was telling me about some things that they do for kids, the turkeys, the school programs. He gave me a card. I forget it too. He does a lot of positive things, and we were talking. I actually like the guy. I think he's just misguided. But this other guy came over. He said he can't vote for Kamala just because she's a woman. I said, I'm gonna tell him chauvinistic to the point. And what's funny about that? In the same breath he said that, I guess he said, "Hey, Maggie, bring me another beer." I said, "I need another beer." Right in the same thread. So he's a chauvinistic cat. She brought him his bear. But yeah, so I thought that was crazy. I talked to this one guy, a mixed guy, white and Hispanic. I think his dad is black. His dad is Hispanic, and he was talking so crazy. I think it's maybe a lot of hatred towards his dad, because he was big on border control. He really was talking about, if you heard what's going on in Colorado, Aurora, Colorado, there's a Venezuela gang that's kind of ran roughshod over the city. They're taking over apartment complexes like New Jack City style. They kicking in folks' doors. And it's taking over people's apartments, doing a lot of criminal activity. And allegedly, well, not allegedly, the Hell's Angels, probably I think it might be the largest motorcycle club in the country, with a reputation precedes them. A rough group of guys. They're supposed to be going down there. They should already be there. I didn't read nothing about it today to confront them. So, but he was really talking about this wouldn't be happening if the borders is open policy with Biden and Kamala. He was going. I said, well, dude. And then I said, well, dude. I talked about the insurrection. Oh, sometimes we have to go those measures to get our country back. And I'm looking at him, and he's like and again, I don't care if you think this is not about race, but it is about race. It's not like I know he's mixed, but he didn't take the side of his mother. He's like a brown mixed one. I'm like, dude, do you think Trump care about you? How you riding for Trump? He said, you think Kamala does? I said, I don't know. I just know Trump don't. You know what I'm saying? But hey, have at it. And I was talking about again, like the insurrection. I said, man, when the Black Lives Matter had a thing, they had the National Guard on the step. As if we was gonna rush the Capitol. Y'all know, black or white, you can't dispute what I'm about to say here. Had any of those parade goers, they're not parade, but protesters of the Black Lives Matter, the whole movement, had they had rushed the Capitol, they would even got to the window. They would have been shot down like dogs. We know that, so stop. So, but then he said, that Black Lives Matter, that was a bunch of crock. I'm like, yeah, what are you talking about? He said, and then George Floyd, why is he special? I said, huh? And he said, Black people been getting killed for years. Why is he special? Okay, first let's deal with this. How nonchalantly he said black people been getting killed for years by the police. Like, that's how it is. Let's accept it and move on. That was the spirit in which he said it. And that struck a nerve. I said, what? I said, then my man, my boy, I was working from Carolina. Shout out to Faison. Faison looked at me and said, no, he looked at me. He looked at me because, like, looking like, man, don't go there with him. But that got me. Let me tell y'all something for those who didn't know. Now, he's right. There have been a lot of people historically been killed by the police. Um, but black people are killed by the police. It goes on all the time. I'm gonna tell you why this is different. I'm gonna tell you how funny it is. There's a, if you didn't know me, I'm a Sanford and Son buff. There's an episode of Sanford and Son, Sanford was like in the early '70s, where Fred was Lamont. If you don't know about who the character is, Lamont is Fred Sanford's son, and Fred Sanford is Red Fox. Lamont was played by Damon Wilson. Well, Lamont took his dad to the clinic to check his heart because he was worried about it because his dad was smoking, do all those things. And Lamont said, Dad, do you know the number one killer for black people is heart disease? And Fred was like, I didn't know that. I thought it was the police. This is like 1972. It was a joke. But that's how far this crap goes back. After the proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation, after all of that, I mean, this was a thing. They still were killing. So, but when I told him, I'm going to tell you why this was different. When did George Floyd get murdered? Because, yes, he was murdered. It was during the pandemic. And it seemed like a million years ago. But you remember when the first of the pandemic came out? We didn't know what was going on. All we knew, people were dying, the numbers were climbing, and we were stuck. We weren't going nowhere. So we were watching TV. So the world saw this. And this is how egregious this act was, because the cop knew that they were recording. Even the other cops were out like, hey, okay, dude, look here, let's go and get him off of him. So, and he said he was resisting arrest. So I said, you know what? Let's end this conversation. Because I'm working, because I know you're gone. You're gone. You can't understand what I'm going to say. So let's just end it with that. So, and it was funny. I was riding down the road and I saw this. It's not the greatest picture. Um, where's here it goes. Here, let me show this. Okay, it's a picture. It says, you can't really read up there. It says, I'd rather vote for a felon than a jackass. So because they call him Kamala a jackass, and of course they know he's a felon. This was posted up down there. I was in the heart of America. And this the funny thing about, again, I think those were really, really good people. I had a lot of good conversation with them. I think their heart's in the right place, but I think they're so fooled. But Trump don't even care about rural America. Hell, he don't care about the elite. He is the true definition of a narcissist. He don't care about other rich people. He don't care. He cares about himself. He definitely don't give a damn about the rural. I'm talking about the rural Caucasian. He don't care, but they ride for him. He know just what to say to get them going. And what's funny in my conversations, I was like, we talking to him, they were talking to me. We both want the same things. We want the same things. We want to be able to have good schools. We want to be able to have affordable housing. We want to have to be able to attain a livable wage, and a way not just to make check to check, to be able to put money away for vacations for our kids for college. We don't want violence. I remember Tupac said, it's not till I agree. the same crime element that white people are afraid of, black people are afraid of. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of want the same thing. Like I told her brother, I said, at the end of the day, we all bleed red. And at some point, we all going to meet our maker. But I don't say our maker. I'm going to go say it. I'm going to say God, the great I am, Yahshua. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. Like I told her, I said, it's not going to be no white heaven, no black heaven, no Methodist heaven, no Baptist heaven, no Catholic heaven, no Protestant heaven, no Mexican heaven. We all want to be in that same heavenly choir. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me caught up in that. Because when I think about the goodness and all he has done for me, my soul shout hallelujah. But let me get back to it. Real talk though. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But now, I actually, this place I was at, we stayed at a hotel. I'm going to say it's a Days Inn. I'm not going to say exactly where I was at because I don't want to just totally, because I think most people that I talked to were actually great. I stayed at this Days Inn. A story about this Days Inn. The lady there, apparently, I could tell they lived there. She had her babies there, and I guess her husband is one of the managers, or he might run. I don't know. They're of Indian descent, Pakistan. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't want to disrespect them anyway, but I know they were probably Indian of that, not American Indian. Like, woo, no, not them, because we don't see them. We don't see American Indians. They're on reservations, and the Americans kill most of them. It's true. I don't want to get into that, but it's true. How many American Indians, Native Indians, do you actually just see? Ever? None, but that's another story. Well, anyway, so um, the shift, how it goes, while I was working, there's two different shifts, a night shift and a day shift. I was on night shift. So I got there and I thought we was low on towels. So I went downstairs. So I wanted to get myself a towel and I also wanted to get an extra towel for my roommate who when he come in. So I knocked the asked the lady for a towel. I asked her for a towel. I said, hey man, please, may I get a couple towels for our room? We in room, you know. Listen, she wrinkled her forehead. She looked at me, and I'm not exaggerating. Let me take off my glasses so I can see what I'm saying. She looked at me as if I asked her to perform fellatio in front of her daughters. That's how she looked at me for asking for some towels. And I saw, and she was like, "What wrong? Well, I'm doing this, and I'm the only one doing this." I said, "Ma'am, I need some towels." That's it. So I went upstairs. She said, "Okay, I'll bring them." So I was coming back down because I wanted to go ahead and just meet her. Now, it was rude, but I told myself, hey, she might, at this point, I didn't know she's the only one cleaning. Could be a bad day. She's trying to work. She got two little girls, probably calling her, giving her the benefit of the doubt. So we met each other on the steps. You know what I mean? So she gave it to me, gave me one towel, one face towel, and it wasn't the greatest hotel they had to stay in. I wouldn't stay there personally, but they pay for the rooms, and it's just somewhere I need just to lay my head. So I wouldn't trip. As long as it's clean, I'm good. It wasn't the Waldorf Astoria uh, or the Ritz, but it was doable for it served its purpose. So the next day, we needed toilet paper and soap. So I went to the main desk, and this was another lady, a Caucasian lady. I said, I need some soap. And then the chick, she runs out. Hey, listen, I'm the only one. I said, I'm not even talking to you. Not even talking to you. But I need some more soap, but not for me because my roommate, he wanted the soap. I said, but we didn't need some toilet paper. I definitely needed that because I know what I'll be on. I said, we need some toilet paper. I said, why are you tripping about giving us about the basic things? She said, She walk off. Whatever. Now, that's the prelude about what I'm really going to talk about. Same hotel. I do this gig from time to time, and hold up. I was there a couple of years ago when my partner was with me. Um, Long shifts. It's like a night shift. I get up at like 9 in the morning. They stopped serving breakfast. Same hotel at 9:30. A few years ago, we get there like 9:20. Dude, black dude, look like he's upset that we's coming so late. You saw on his face. He actually burned because they had like a little station where he does pancakes, omelets, or whatever you want. Of course, they got the little continental stuff too, like bagels, yogurt, bananas, juice, and coffee. They had a waffle maker too, but he was doing pancakes and omelets. Well, he burnt my boy pancake. You know it was on purpose. I mean, dude, I'm not eating this. Like he had attitude every day. Me personally, I'm one like that. Why is he even here? It's not a lot of black people here, but I ain't think none of it. Fast forward to this past weekend. Different black guy. Different black guy. We go in there first day. I say good morning. He don't say nothing, but he got his earphones on. Maybe he didn't hear me. Actually, he make good omelets. He make too. So like an omelet with everything. Then they had ham, peppers, onions. The works pretty much. Did it. But he had an attitude doing it again. Benefit of the doubt. Long day, long night. I'm tired. Who knows? Day two. Say good morning. He don't say nothing. I go closer to see if I hear something on his ear. I don't hear no music coming out. He hear me. He has an attitude. Now, there's other people in there. He's said he's bringing their plates when he make their omelets. I'm over there making me a couple pieces of toast. He take the plates over there to him. He's putting my plate and other people's plate on the table. Now, there was a couple of white guys that I work with. He didn't bring theirs to their table either. So I'm thinking he just don't like working here. That's what I'm thinking. He just don't like working here. But I'm still concerned though that you're acting this way towards me. So when was that? Let's see. Okay. So the next day, same type of attitude. Just everything about him was just funky when he's speaking. See, I got this thing. I speak to everybody, and I definitely speak to every brother I see. Definitely speak to every brother. So our last day, which was on Labor Day, that morning I was leaving, I said, I got to have a conversation. Got to have a conversation because I'm confused. Now, my Friday Fables, if you don't watch my Friday Fables, I give a story or something that happened to me or something every Friday. Last Friday, I had a moral, and the word was elucidation. What is elucidation? Elucidation is getting clarification, getting an explanation for something. I need elucidation of this brother. I had questions. I had questions. I don't care. I had questions. I had questions. So we come in there, no orange juice. And I'm like, is this dude working? People in there, he's sitting in there and it's like they have a little cul-de-sac. He in there chilling. We was like, you working today? He get out there. I said, I would like two omelets because he was making them small though, but so I knew one was gonna give me enough. So he making them. Everybody's coming in at this point, getting them, getting their orders, requests. He said, yes, sir. What can I do for you? All white guys. They ain't calling me sir. They ain't said nothing to me. So he say, omelet, no meat coming up. I mean, right here, everybody orders. At this point, I knew where I was in line, so I knew the omelets he was putting next were mine. He set mine on the table. Didn't say a word. Didn't say a word. Didn't say a word. So I walk over to him. I said, Are these mine? Yeah. I said, why didn't you say nothing? They're right there. I said, but why didn't you say nothing? I said, let me ask you something, brother. Are you from around here? Yeah. I said, were you born here? He said, no, I'm from Texas. So you from Texas? So let me ask you something, bro. Every day you like you have an attitude. I say good morning. You don't say good morning. My next question. This might be a little much. What was it? What? Why you live here? Excuse me. I said, it seems like you have an attitude, and I'm gonna go as far as to say you might even have an attitude with brothers, with me. Dude, I don't know you. I ain't do nothing to you. Or as my college coach, Coach James from New Orleans would say, I ain't do you nothing. I ain't do you nothing. So why you acting that towards way? He's no, that just I mean, he really didn't have an answer. So this how I am. I had to find out some stuff. Now, this place where he's at, well, the city where I was doing the work, the population like 843. Like 843, with 0.2% blacks. Now, there's a neighboring city where the hotel was, maybe 7 miles away from this place, which is a larger area, kind of, which is 17,481 people, 4.4% black. So let's say 4% of 17,000. Let's make it straight. That means of 17,000 people, 4% that's about 700 people. 700 black people in that. So, what am I saying? I'm making a note to talk to every black man I see. Every black man I see. I speak first. That's how I am. Everybody ain't gotta be like me, but I challenge every black you just should. Especially in an environment like that. I don't know why he was there. I don't know why. Who knows? He could be a snitch, a rat, and he's living in the witness protection thing. Who knows? Because it's that kind of town. It, I would, if that's the case, Lord forgive me. He should act that way. Don't have no conversation with nobody. But I don't think that's the case. The other brother that was there was the same kind of attitude. We got to speak to each other. I don't know if you are familiar with the movie with the series Blackish, Kenya Bears with Anthony Anderson, Tracy Ellis Ross, Diana Ross' daughter was in it. There's an episode, one of the early episodes. Just go to YouTube, The Nod. Uh, they had some good money, so their kids were going to really good schools, not like predominantly black schools. And him and his son was walking, and the guy's like this, and he didn't do nothing. It was the nod. It's like a unwritten cultural thing that black men do. Like this, the nod. Like, what's up, dog? What's up, bro? It's acknowledged. It's just an acknowledgement. There was no textbook that taught us that. It's just what it is. So that just really disturbed me. People say that's petty. I don't care. I don't care. And then to act that towards me and you, everybody else, sir, and all that. Yeah, I had a problem with that. But I mean, it's all Gucci. Lastly, I'm gonna talk about this here. Revelation. Revelation is a good thing. You can never stop learning. We all should be lifelong learners. But you can never stop learning about yourself. Learning about yourself. There are things I've learned about myself within the last 6 months. The spirit of discernment is a real thing. When you start seeing things and seeing the people for who they are and what they are, who they are in your life, what they mean in your life, or what they don't need in your life. You can really be rolling with somebody tight and they really ain't rocking with you like you rocking with them. Seriously. But it's cool. You still can have love for them. Just now you know how to move. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people act like they got all this love for you. I love this picture here. It says some people just act like they're trying to help you. See the brother in the hole and do rich arm, he got a ladder right there. That's how some people are. That's how some people are. In my freestyle, what I say, if we're not encouraging or uplifting, what are we doing? Why are not helping? Now, this, when I talk about the brother that was at the spot, this is kind of in that same realm. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. The right side, the fair skinned people is pushing each other up. This side, dude climbing, he got a hand around his waist, which means it's going to prevent him from climbing. I'm not trying to get on this, but we got to love each other, man. And I think a lot of us do. I'm not anti-white. I'm pro-black. I love my people. If I can help, I can help. Now, like I told the guy who was talking about politics, I don't call myself a Democrat. Do I vote Democrat? Yes. It's some things I'm liberal about. It's some things I'm conservative about. It's some white people I don't mind being around, and there's some black people I don't want to be around. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's who I am, and I'm unapologetically black. I thank God for making me my color, making me who I am. So just let's let's keep our stuff together now. We got to do that. Um, Next, I want to just before I close this out, we get out of here in a minute. Let me see. I do not see it. I must forgot to bring it over. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and do it and do it now. Why y'all right here? Why y'all right here? Is this it here? Yep, I'm gonna do it right here. Over the week, my man Scarface, he was rushed to hospital. He was in ICU. I hadn't heard his status right now, but you know he had a lot going on during COVID. He almost died. He got a lot of kidney issues, some kind of bug there flying. So let's prayers for my man Scarface, Brad Jordan. Anybody know me? Um, One of my favorite rappers. He's above me right now with other rappers that I love. I like all kind of rappers though, but I got one picture of Scarface in there, Brad Jordan. So let's pray all is well and he get well, whatever's going on. He had some ailment. He was in ICU though. So shout out to Scarface, man. That's my man. Or as DMX would say, which is my other boy, that's my man's in them. Yeah. And I just want to send a shout out real quick to my brother, um, More Than Coach podcast, Kevin Marshall. I think he on maybe season 5 or 6. He been rolling. It's my boy. New season, Thursday. Talking sports with his brother here, Jeremy Jackson, on all social platforms. I usually watch him on YouTube. So check out my boy Kevin Marshall. That's my brother there. And also him and his wife have the Mr. and Mrs. Marshall podcast come on Sunday nights. Awesome, awesome. Great interaction. They love people to watch and interact with. They have some great subjects. And I love Ms. Marshall always said, we're not marriage counselors. To put that disclaimer out, we just people who've been together 30 years and we want to share this stuff that they've learned How to grow from. Awesome, awesome podcast. Very, very interesting. I wasn't able to be on because I was working Sunday night, but I'm trying to check them out this Sunday. But awesome. And not just married couples. You know, if you're just in a relationship, they talk about love and relationships, I think. So definitely check them out. The Mr. and Mrs. Marshall podcast. Check them out for sure. So that's what it is, people. So I'm going to shut this here down. Thank you for watching the volume 1 of Randomz. And I talk about a lot of different subjects. Be on the alert for Friday, my Friday Fable. My Friday Fable is going to, I don't know what I'm talking about this Friday. But yeah, for those who have been supporting me, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all even considering listening a little of my stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to share anything and hope somebody can get something. So much love to y'all. To check out. Do your thing. Enjoy this week. Head into our fall season. Pretty much, what is it? 2/3 of the year is gone. We just about over. We got 4 more months left, and the year's a wrap. So much love to y'all. Love somebody. Help somebody. Do for somebody. Holla.
Things going on in the world today. Every time Dick and Harry got something to say, but what they said ain't got no fabric to it. Yay takes and thoughts with dice right through it. It's all about rumors and people feuding. If we're not uplifting, then what we doing? Yeah, they love the culture, yet they trying to wreck it. But are we ready to go hard to protect it? If we don't stand firm, then we're sure to fall. Are you ready to fight this thing and accept the call? Or it's all about dealerships and the mall? Now I'm ready to go for broke like Apostle Paul. I'm charged with the task to keep it real. Moving straight forward, not about to yield. Tackling every subject, yeah, you know the drill. R.I.P. Guru, I bring that mass appeal. Our ancestors stood tall, despite abuse. We got all the tools, so what's our excuse? It's time to show a face and take off the mask. It's something every yay, it's the podcast. 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 It's something every yay, it's the podcast.
Deuces.